And now, marine weather around Alaska.
And for the south coast of the Panhandle tomorrow, small craft advisory, southwest winds at 25 knots, south to southeast 20 to 25 knots on the central coast, southeast 20 to 25 on the north coast, with seas anywhere from 11 to 14 feet. Lynn Canal, southeast at 15, southeast 20 for both Stevens Passage and Clarence Strait, with seas 3 to 7 feet. And then we got some gale warnings coming into the southern inside waters, especially for Clarence Strait for Saturday. East winds 35 knots. Gale warnings to the south coast, east winds 35 to 40 knots, with seas just under 20 feet. And north 25 for Stevens Passage, north 15 for Lynn Canal. East-northeast at 20 knots on the central coast, and east-northeast 20 to 25 knots for the north coast. And for Cook Inlet, tomorrow, small craft advisories, north winds 25 to 30 knots, northwest at 50 knots in the forecast, so storm warnings here for the Kamishak Bay area and the Barren Islands, and northeast 30-knot winds for the western North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound southeast at 30, and the eastern North Gulf Coast, southeast winds 25 knots. And for the day Saturday, eastern North Gulf Coast, winds east at 30 knots, 10-foot seas, northeast 25 for the western coast. Barren Islands north at 20 knots, and the Kamishak Bay area north at 25, and north winds 20 knots for Cook Inlet, northeast at 20 for Prince William Sound. Full gales tomorrow for Kodiak Island, northwest 45 knots, northwest 35-knot gales for Bristol Bay, and the Alaska Peninsula, west-northwest winds 15 to 30 knots. For Saturday for the peninsula, south to southeast winds 20 to 30 knots, northeast at 15 with 4-foot seas for Bristol Bay. And Kodiak, those winds down to 20 knots from the north with seas subsiding to 4 to 6 feet. Eastern Aleutians, west-northwest winds 20 knots, seas 3 to 8 feet. Northeast at 30 knots for Adak and Atka. And then storm warnings coming into the western Aleutians, southeast winds 55 to 60 knots with gusts to 85 miles per hour. And then for Saturday, southwest winds, still looking at storm warnings, Kiska to Shemya for 50 to 55 knot winds, 45 knots for Amchitka Island out of the southwest, Adak and Atka, looking at southwest winds at 40 knots, and the eastern Aleutians, south winds 30 to 40 knots. For the southwest coast here, we've got northwest winds at 25 knots for the Kuskokwim Delta coast through there. Northwest at 30 for the Pribilofs, west 30 St. Matthew Island. Light south wind at 10 knots, seas just 2 feet for the Yukon Delta coast, and northwest 15 St. Lawrence Island and Norton Sound. And for Norton Sound on Saturday, southeast wind 20 knots, southeast 25 for St. Lawrence Island. Southeast 30 for the Yukon Delta coast, east 30 for the Kuskokwim Delta coast, Pribilof Islands southeast at 40 knots, and save the best for last here, storm warnings for St. Matthew Island, southeast winds 50 knots, seas 22 feet. And for the Chukchi Sea tomorrow, not too bad up that way, northwest wind at 10 to 15 knots with 2 to 4 foot seas, west of 15 for the western Arctic coast, southwest 15 for the central and eastern coastline with 3-foot seas. And then for Saturday, west to southwest breezes 10 to 15 knots for the entire stretch of the Arctic coast and the Chukchi Sea, south to southeast wind 15 knots with 3-foot seas.